Friends to Fantasy Pros, it's leading off. I am Welsh. That is Bubba and Bubba.
Hey, it's Monday, folks.
Monday.
What's up?
It's a total Monday. We're brought to you by PrizePicks. Promo code leading off. Use the promo code and get a 100% match up to $100. Do it today. PrizePicks. We'll talk about them later as we are picking some prizes. What's up, Bubba?
What's up, Welshie?
Bubba B. What's up? How was your weekend of baseball with all the chaos?
It was good. It was fun. It was just, another week to the grind, trying to get through it. Had my fantasy football draft on Saturday. It's a whole other story. But yeah, baseball's good.
You know what I don't understand? I don't understand. There's quite a few people that have this like football's garbage. Like I know baseball people, but like it's like specifically from baseball people. Like it's very funny. You know those rivalries that are in sports where it's like there's the big team. It usually actually locally here, it would have been like the Phoenix Suns are rivals with the Lakers. And like 10 years ago, it's like the Suns are rivals with the Lakers, but the Lakers don't care about the Suns. I think that kind of happens with fantasy sports where the fantasy football people don't care about the baseball. The baseball people are like, you know what? Fantasy football is lame. It's stupid. Baseball's the only one, which, fantasy baseball, I think, is the headiest. It has the most intricacies across the board.
We're the nerds. They're the jocks. Yeah. I get it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like a schoolyard thing. So then what are basketball?
They're the athlete. Let me see. I don't want you're putting me in a bad spot here.
What are hockey? Yeah. What are hockey?
Hockey, those guys are the troublemakers. They're the hooligans.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Well, Bubba, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about a bunch of prospect stuff. We've got your questions. So I'm going to say it just like I did. I just said, screw it. The last episode, we're going to set a section every episode to just go through bam, bam, bam. We're going to burn through some of your questions. So if you guys are watching us live on YouTube, drop it in the chat. We will get to that section and we will burn through all of them. So if you got them, start and sit, whatever it is, you want to break down a player, hit it up there. Bubba, maybe try to pick some out as well. And we will, and I'll try to, pinpoint them and everything like that. But let's get into the stuff and the things. It is kind of a Monday. I feel very Monday-ish. So if I'm a little cranky, just everybody understand, I don't usually feel Monday. I'm feeling Monday. But a dude that is feeling it is Julio Rodriguez. Ooh, my God. 4 straight games of 4 or more hits, 8-game hit streak he's currently got going. And this weekend, Bubba, he went 9 for 16 with a homer and 3 stolen bases. Last Monday, when we did this show, 257 batting average. Today, Julio's got a 278 batting average. And just coming back to it, this is another thing. Like I was talking with Bubba off air. It is kind of difficult because we're in this place where I do feel like we're missing some of the long-term season baseball stuff where it's like, hey, we could talk about the trades. We could talk about, do you like this guy rest of season? We're just kind of in it. Like we're in it. We have to make reactionary moves. But with Julio Rodriguez, you had just thrown out like a week ago. We were talking about could he be, the guy that pushes Bobby Witt, as I was claiming Bobby Witt to be number 3. And Julio, if he's going to finish on this insane tear, we're going to be right back to where we were before. It won't be against Acuna. It won't be against Ohtani and Daly, but Julio is firmly back into that top 4 or 5.
Yeah, definitely. He's showing everybody, like what we talked about last week. Just remember, roto categories, end of the season, like slumps will happen. He's letting everybody know that he's still elite. He's still a 5 category guy. He still maybe one day has the makings of a 40-40 player, which we've all talked about. He's still 21, 22 years old or something like that. Like the dude is going to be just fine. So he's quite impressive what he's putting together. And this is one of the more legendary runs I think we'll see in a long, long time.
Also, I think it like cements any of the early value any of you guys got when he was kind of struggling there. Because there was someone in this chat. I remember it was like, God, it was like right when Joe left or right after Joe left. And they were just like, it's accountability buddy. There's these accountability people out there like, oh, Joe, Julio Rodriguez. Cause I think Joe had Julio at number 1, which, for all intents and purposes, regardless of how Julio finishes this year, that wasn't the correct take because Julio or Acuna was the top guy. Yeah. And also like something that really always bothers me about fantasy is that revisionist type of thing where it's like, well, this guy was the number 1 player for the last 6 weeks. And then, let's say 2 months, and then they finish as a top 5. And it's like, well, see, everything worked out. And it's like, but it didn't in the respect of that player having 3 months, that was less than ideal. Julio's a different situation because this is arguing about a guy that's like top 5 to top 50. That works more for, actually, honestly, works more for fantasy football with like someone touting a rookie running back and they're garbage for 7 weeks and then they're really good. But you know, that was a conversation that was happening here where people like, oh my gosh, Julio is overrated and it's a sophomore slump, and it's nothing close to that.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great way to put it. The rookie running back situation. It's people overreact to guys like Julio, who he's not the same situation. Like if you drafted someone like you said outside of maybe even top 100, yeah, that guy burns you in a big way. But a guy like Julio, you weren't sitting him. You're gonna you're gonna reap the benefits one way or the other, and you're reaping them now.
Yeah, like Lee said, Julio had a very small sophomore slump. That's the other thing that, you know, hey, if we want to get back to talking about football versus baseball, the thing as fantasy baseball players, we have to understand and work through more are extended slumps. Football does not have that. Football patience, exactly. Baseball people lack that patience a lot, that I notice when we do these shows, but at the same time, it's what you need the most. You need to be able to weather the storms in there. Sabo also saying Joe took Julio because he had to move on from Soto, which those were
that's valid. That's
kind of his guys. Yeah. But you know, looking at that's so funny. I typed in Julio Rodriguez and I got Julian Merriweather for some reason on Baseball Savant. Yeah, that really is. But just peeking over at Savant here for a second, you know, the EV's hard hit through the roof, barrel percentage 11%. It's a little bit down than last year. Hard hit is up this year, but the max and the average EV is something impressive. I know some people just don't care because they call it like, you know, non-sticky or whatever, but like average EV to be 93.2, that's a huge number. That's a big number on all average hits. And I know it quantifies like hits that don't matter, but you know, everything is there for Julio, and it was a great buy period if you guys were able to jump in on that. So kudos to you. It is prospect time. Bubba said before the show, he's like, man, this is your time. When I was complaining about like, man, where's the actionable stuff? We can't do trades. We can't do this. We could do prospect time, because more than ever before, Bubba, we are getting prospects every day, and we're going to continue to do it most likely for, I'm looking at the date here down here, the next 10 days, I think, is like the big period, because there's a couple things these teams have to decide. These teams have to decide, you know, where do they want these extra at bats to be got? And by that, I mean, some teams can decide to push it up to the major leagues because the AAA season ends mid-September. Some of the other, I think, double low A ends a little bit earlier in September, or they can push these guys to the Arizona Fall League. And usually what it ends up being is the decision between Arizona Fall League and majors. And these teams are manipulating some of that service time more than ever before. And we've got two new ones that are coming up here. Kyle Harrison with the San Francisco Giants is going to make his major league debut on Tuesday against Philly. He's had 67 innings so far this year, 109 strikeouts, but he's walking everybody, 48 walks. Here's the problem I have. June 15th, Kyle Harrison went 5. Since then, he's only gone 4 innings once. He's got big fastball stuff plus numbers. Secondary has been questioned. Control has been garbage. I don't think there's any fantasy value I'm looking to do, because I think the Giants most likely use him in that kind of opener-ish type of role where it's like 3 or 4 innings. I don't see him going 5, so I don't see any value in Kyle Harrison in redraft. But what say you?
Yeah, I don't either. I'm with you there. I've been watching him closely. Everyone's been telling me how like crappy his command is. He's walking guys. He's not walking a ton lately, but he's not going deep into games, and that's the big conundrum for fantasy purposes. So I'm with you there. He's got 17 Ks to 4 walks in his last 4 outings. Like you mentioned, that's 11 1/3 innings over those 4 outings. And so the Giants want to get a look at him, like we talked about. First looks is what this is all about right now. So they're going to see what they need, and they also need pitchers. They've been doing like 3 bullpen games out of every 5. It's crazy right now. So he's going to fill in perfectly there. You get him 3 to 4 innings, like after an opener, see what he's got, go on. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Harrison. Not for this season, at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like deeper leagues where if you're just trying to stretch some innings, the only problem is he's got the name value attached to him. So this isn't like picking up like some sneaky sparp or something like that. Like everyone's going to be looking at him. I would rather someone else go and have the 4 walks he's going to have over 3 innings. I mean, again, it's big fastball stuff. So, that may end up working out, but I'm not a big believer. By the way,
if you're looking for a spark, I'd rather, this pains me, I'd rather have Mania than Harrison if you want a giant spark, something like that.
Another one is the guy I talked about some time back was like Bryce Jarvis. Bryce Jarvis of the Arizona Diamondbacks has pitched well in kind of long relief. The Diamondbacks actually did a bullpen game where I think they started Joe Mantiply, and then they went to Bryce Jarvis, or they did something else.
They started McGuff on game 2.
That's Saturday what it was.
Night. Yeah, that was wow.
Yeah, and they did it with Mantiply a couple times back, and then Bryce Jarvis came in for 3. I would rather have Bryce Jarvis and his stuff than I would Kyle Harrison right now. Like now, bigger question is going to be like dynasty value, where you sit with Kyle Harrison. I'm kind of not like insanely interested. He was a big, obviously pitching prospect, but he's probably the most volatile of anyone I've had in the top 100. So stuff plus be damned or not, I'm not super interested. By the way, there were some questionable sounds coming from your area, and some people were suggesting what happened. I think it's your dog, though. I want to point out, Bubba.
He's panicking because there's the neighbor's dog started barking. So
okay, well, I just wanted to make sure people didn't think you were.
I did not fart on air. I'm a professional.
It's very professional to talk about that too. These are the type of questions we're going to be answering here very shortly in our listener
Dog days of summer, folks. Dog days of summer.
The other one is Noelvi Marte was up. We got a rookie Lookie for a few others, but Noelvi Marte got called up this weekend, which I thought was a pretty big surprise, playing third base. The Reds have the most like screw it attitude. I love it. Screw it in the best way. Bring up all the prospects. He got a stolen base in a pinch run situation, I think it was, or pinch hit situation on Saturday. He got the start on Sunday, but he hit 7th and hitting third base. This is what that future lineup looks like. Elliott short, McLean at second. I think Strand might have played first in that one, and then Noelvi at third. That's the future lineup. There were already some weird things with India. I think India's getting traded. If there's one person I bet on getting traded in the offseason, it is Jonathan India.
He was rumored at the deadline already, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Had he not got hurt, he probably gets moved. So here's what I ask you then. We had all the waivers and stuff go over on Sunday. Did you have any pickup interest in Noelvi, and do you have any interest rest of season, especially if he gets some time, but knowing he's going to probably be hitting lower in the order?
Yes, I actually picked him up in a couple leagues. I was in leagues I needed offense with potential, power speed guy. Obviously, I picked him up when they said he's going to be our primary third baseman the rest of the way. Like just the idea of regular playing time got me excited with Noelvi Marte. So I did make a few moves. Most lineups at the bottom of the order, you'd be worried. If I can play half my games in Great American Small Park, not as concerned. So I went that route.
Who would you rather have rest of season, Noelvi Marte or Nolan Schanuel?
Marte.
Okay, see, that's interesting because I am infatuated with Schanuel getting.
Schanuel's played great out the gate,
and it gets to lead off. But I think what everybody is seeing now, and something I've been describing about him, it's awesome hit tool, but the way his approach is, it doesn't have a good power approach. I saw a couple, I don't know if it was Kyle Bodie or a couple people online talking about some underlying metrics, which are just pretty obvious that when you look and you see his across body swing, you can say, oh, he's probably not dipping into a lot of big hard hit numbers. He's not barreling. Doesn't look like there's some insane launch angle going on with him. He is a contact all fields hitter that moves across his body. And what does that usually tell us? Well, it's not a 1-for-1, but in many cases, those can be guys that can lack power numbers. He also doesn't steal a lot of bases. So this is a first baseman that doesn't have a lot of power potential. But if he's leading off for the Angels, that's kind of a whole nother conversation. So Schanuel versus, I would probably go Schanuel because I just don't know what Noelvi's playing time looked like. But if you gave me Noelvi essentially every day or 5 out of 7 days.
The Reds said he's supposed to be the everyday third baseman.
Okay, then I mean, you know what?
That's what got my attention.
Yeah, then maybe I will go with him then over Schanuel, even though he's getting that playing time. Yeah, a couple people in here. Schanuel has he doesn't have a Matt Olson type stance necessarily. I mean, I guess Olson's gets a little bit high, but Schanuel's is so much higher with the hands in and across the body.
Craig Counsell-esque.
Yeah, I mean, it is very slap hitter-esque. It really is. And that's where I would go with that if we're looking at
Angelo does not need to poke the bear, by the way, with his Geloff comment.
Oh yeah. What about Geloff?
He knows where we stand. He's probably comparing. Would you rather have those guys over Geloff's Mike? Yes,
Geloff.
with that. No, it's Geloff. Yeah,
Yeah.
As I said, don't poke the bear.
Yeah. No. Easy Geloff. Who is next? Just for you guys, I've been saying it. Pete Crow Armstrong is my number one with the Chicago Cubs. Look out in the next 10 days. Everson Pereira with the New York Yankees. You also might see Austin Wells. Pereira, I think, had like a 2-homer day yesterday. Those would be 2 offensive pieces I'd be looking for. You want to really dig deep. This is going to be crunch time. Jackson Holiday. Does he come up? Or does he go to the fall league? It's one of the 2 things. I think he comes up and gets major league at bats. I know. Please. I'm also saying fall league, but just be on the lookout on the short stance. There's a possibility.
I got one for you. What about your boy Jordan Lawler, who went to AAA and is crushing it right now?
I think there's a possibility for sure. Diamondbacks are in it. They can always use that bat. I think middle infield makes a lot of sense for them. They can move some pieces around. You could just have Perdomo. I mean, the problem is like Keuchel at second. What do you do with Perdomo and Lawler? Do you move Perdomo to third and so they got some things to do. That might be why they don't, but he played in the fall league last year. So I don't think he's a possibility. I really do think he's one. Oh, and you know what? A really good call is Colt Keith. That's another one that I think should be coming up soon. Another fall league guy that was already up. So those would be guys I would be speculating on, but my order would be Pete Crow. If Colt Keith came up, he'd be number 2, but I think Pereira is gonna. I think I feel confident about Pereira. I go Pereira, Colt Keith, Lawler, and I think Jackson Holiday is kind of the lowest of the totem pole if I'm going to be speculating on some rookies. A couple other pieces as we keep going here. Hunter Greene lit up for 9 runs, 8 earned in 3 innings against the Blue Jays as he returned. He gave up 11 hard hit balls according to Roto World, and I believe it was 5 homers. So I was very like, let's not do it coming off of the break. And that was reality. How confident do you feel moving forward in Hunter Greene's next start after this blow up?
Well, my golden rule with Hunter Greene and mostly Nick Lodolo all season, don't start them in Great American Small Park. Very simple to me. I just don't, because home road splits can be, wonky at times. I'm not going to deny that. But Hunter Greene, the way he just throws his fastball so much, if he's off at all, it's batting practice in Great American. Where on the road, he's shown he can be a much different pitcher. So once he hits the road, I'm in. At home, bench. That's just how I look at him.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a pretty good approach. I'm gonna a little bit. I don't know what the next start is. I should have looked, but
I can check for you.
Yeah, I'd just be curious what it is. Like, unless it's like very favorable, I'm probably gonna avoid. But I understand if anyone's like really needy for it, I'm probably gonna avoid unless it is very, very favorable. Do you have it?
It's pulling up as we speak.
Cincinnati,
smoking the versus Toronto in Great American, so I'll be sitting him there. But then next week he has a 2-step that you will start him for at Arizona and at San Francisco.
Yeah, those are pretty good ones.
So you sit him this week, start him next week, and enjoy life.
Yeah. And in one of the weirdest things of the weekend, Twins, I don't know if you all have paid attention, but Dallas Keuchel is with the Twins. He had a perfect game through the 7th inning and ended up getting broken up. He went 6 1/3, 1 hit, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Actually, he's had 3 starts with the team. He got blown out by the Phillies, but 2 of those starts, he's gone 5. So I ask you this, is there a scenario where you can spot start Dallas Keuchel in your mind?
No, never. I will never start Dallas Keuchel. And then to go back to Greene, I screwed up. It's Arizona this week, San Francisco next week. I had to update the sheet. I'm an idiot. But basically 2 starts, I'd start him for both.
Yeah, I think I would start him.
And Dallas Keuchel, never. Just don't do it. Like, go add Kyle Harrison as a spark before you add Dallas.
Okay, you know what? I was trying to think of like a scenario of like what would be the scenario of like Kyle Harrison versus him. That's actually a really good one. That's a very, very good one. But you're gonna say no. Okay, yeah, I don't think so either. I'm just not. Also, in those 3 starts, he has 3 strikeouts. They all came in this game. So
it's all pitch to contact, which will not bode well for a guy like Dallas Keuchel in the long run.
No. Rookie Lookie. I know we talked about rookies before. Probably could have just paired this together here. But Parker Meadows is going to be, fun fact, Parker Meadows is the name of my son. And my son was like so excited to meet him and get his autograph just because his name was Parker. And they shared their Parkerdom together. Parker Meadows, the brother of Austin Meadows, being called up to the majors. He was in the Arizona Fall League this past year. Hit 256, 19 homers, 65 RBI, 19 stolen bases in 21 attempts. I think Parker Meadows is always going to suffer from batting average issues. But what's funny is his brother most recently had like a higher batting average with no counting stats. Parker Meadows can absolutely turn on some. You want to see any fun video, you can search my Twitter. I've got some from the Arizona Fall League this past year. He can run a bit. He can hit a little bit. But I think it's capped as like a low batting average So I guess you would call him like a 4-tool player. I think he's going to probably hit lower in the order, which doesn't bode well. But if you are chasing some speed with a little bit of power, 12-team, 5 outfielder, I think you could look at him because he's probably going to get run the rest of the year. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Parker Meadows.
No, I was actually happy because I took him in like my last 5 rounds in a lot of draft and holds this year. So I started to throw him in lineups this week. I loved what we saw from him, like guys like you talking about him in the past. So I'm excited about it. And just in a bigger thought process here, I love what Detroit's doing. I know it's the Tigers, and it is what it is. But a lot of young talent. Torque's been mentioned a lot in the chat. We talked about Torque a lot lately. You got him. You got Carpenter doing things like they're trying to build something in Detroit, and it's pretty fun to see.
Yeah. Well, again, this is like they're like the AL Reds, It's just bring up but bring up Colt Keith. Like if you're going to do this, like also bring up Colt Keith and just like get that started.
That's a good point. If you're bringing up Meadows, Keith shouldn't be far behind you.
If you're going to do all these guys, like get them going here. I'd love to see Meadows. We're seeing him, Justin Henry Malloy is another guy, Colt Keith. Those are 2 that we want to see up. That Tigers team is going to be fun in the very near future. Maybe not quite to the Reds level, but they're going to be pretty fun. In insane prospect news, just want to throw this out. You guys probably saw this, but the Padres promoted 17-year-old Ethan Salas to Double-A. And, if I'm going to take a victory lap this year, obviously I got Corbin Carroll on the prospect side. If you ever listened to my Prospect One show, you would know back in January, I went all in on Ethan Salas. And I told everybody how much I love this kid. The top guy in most people's rankings was a kid named Felman Selston, who is also great with the Mariners, who I've been waiting to see, hopefully going to see an Instructs here. But I went all in on Ethan Salas and preached Ethan Salas. He's gone all the way up to number 5 in the pipeline prospect ranks. He turned 17 years old in June, Bubba, and he is getting called up to Double-A, which is the most aggressive I can really, what's more aggressive? Nolan Schanuel, a college hitter, having 20 games in the minors, going to the majors, or a guy who started at 16 years old, skipping overseas work in the Dominican, in the DSL, and going all the way to Double-A. So a 17-year-old Double-A catcher, or Nolan Schanuel, a college hitter going to the majors after the draft.
It's the 17-year-old catcher. It's pretty easy for me. Like, that's just insane what he's doing, because the kid should be a junior in high school right now. Do you remember what you were doing when you were a junior in high school? Like, that's my point. Like, that's the point behind this. At least Schanuel, he did the college thing. He placed college pitching, so at least he's kind of a shorter transition, you think, to where he's going. This kid's 17 years old. Literally started when he was 16. You were learning how to drive and probably sneaking booze from your father's cabinet at 16. This guy is going through single and Double-A. It's pretty crazy to me.
I remember in camp talking to him, and no one knew who he was. And I was like the only guy. And then as camp went on, people started to learn his name. And this guy is going to be an absolute superstar. I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the fall league with what he's doing.
Dude, the way he's moving, it would seem that way, because if he's doing this fall league, start next season in AAA, he's probably up by May or June.
That's the thing that made him unique, is that he's one of those guys, even if you're in like a 5 keeper, even though he's so young, he's justifiable. He's already at Double-A. We are literally in the bowels of him being able to come up next year. Like, that's where we're at. You never know.
And the bright side, Welsh, is he won't even be 18, so he'll need a chaperone in Arizona. I think you might have like a pulled out couch or something. You could make this work.
I think he's got enough money. I think he's fine. But by the way, I was at a complex in extended spring training. He was playing a game, and his parents came, and his brother, who is a top international kid, I think in 2025, and his brother had already agreed to, he's got some under the table, $8 million, $5 million, $6 million deal. The Salas is his brother, Jose Salas, plays with the Twins. There's him, and there's a younger brother, 14 years old, who's going to be coming in the next couple of years.
So quite the bloodline.
Yeah, they're okay. They're doing all right. The other one is Dylan Cruz. I said this on, I believe it was CBS this past week. Dylan Cruz was called up to Double-A. What I think is so unique about this, I think there's a legit shot we could see him maybe even vying for a spot on the major league roster in camp next year. I really do think this team is pushing him heavy. He's getting to Double-A. Maybe he goes to the fall league, pushes a little bit more. I don't know how aggressive anybody wants to be, but you want to talk about a team that's pushing for extra picks. Dylan Cruz looks ready, and he has absolutely dominated at every stop so far, hitting .351, 5 homers, 24 RBI in 66 plate appearances. He is the real deal, and he's the number 1 first-year player, has been at least in my book. Let's go through some listener questions here with what people have dropped here. Nolan Jones or Torkelson? Boy, the Torkelson talk is bode very well for me lately. Jones or Torkelson?
If you need power, torque, if you want all around 5 categories, Jones. But I will say torque since August 1st sitting over 300, so I can't even just say that. Go torque. Go torque.
It's torque. Yeah, it's 100% torque. Right. Mikey says keep Real Muto or drop for Ruiz or Melendez in a points league rest of season locked into the playoffs.
I'm okay with Ruiz, honestly. Like Real Muto, he's playing well, but he's not playing like JTR. Ruiz is playing extremely well. Melendez is getting hot, but he's not there. If you feel like you need to drop Real Muto, I won't stop you. I'd say Ruiz, but I would be very remiss to drop Real Muto.
I think I would keep Remuto, especially in a points league, but Ruiz, I'm not against, and I've said this a bunch, I'm not against if all those options. Okay, so here's the key. That sounds like a 10-man league. If Ruiz and Melendez are out there, if you have the ability to kind of just like burn and churn and stream, I don't think it's the worst. I do think Remuto's name value is going to get picked up by somebody, so understand that.
But then who are they dropping?
Yeah, but if it's great options, you know, I don't think Remuto. I guess I'm thinking almost like keeper-esque.
Yeah.
I think you could do it. I think you could do it.
It's the time of the year where you play the hot hands, especially in a points league like that. You need to lock all that up. He's already in the playoffs, what you said, but you need to.
Yeah. Let's see. Please take the. Will they play it all in Cali this week from Lee?
Yes. I know everyone's seeing the flooded Dodger Stadium, shucks, but I've even asked around. Like my buddy lives in San Diego. I saw Grouch lives in San Diego. They got a lot of rain, but nothing like wind wise. The Angels are playing tonight, and so are the Padres, and not one rumor of them postponing the game. So I'm assuming we're good to go. Then again, Rob Manfred's MLB, so you never know. But I think we're good.
Did you see with
Big Cat? Oh yeah,
Big Cat got Ted Cruz.
Like,
he did there's this thing that's gone around for many years. It's this picture that someone photoshopped of like it's a freeway that's filled with water, which has happened actually out here in Arizona, but they photoshopped a shark in there, and it goes around from time to time. And Big Cat tweeted out the picture. Can you believe this? To get somebody, and then Ted Cruz quote tweeted it and went, "Whoa!" And getting people with that is always.
I literally wanted to retweet and go, Ted Cruz got by a guy from Barstool. The simulation in 2023 has hit its peak.
Yeah, this is actually leads to a great question. Doobie went a little bit longer. Just said, "Why does it rain? Do you know why it rains?"
Because people in heaven cry.
I was about to say, well, because rain are God's tears, Doobie.
Yes.
So he's
We're on the same page
right
here.
now. Exactly.
Okay, little one, sit down. We need to talk.
That's why it rains.
It's two dads right there, folks.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a ridiculous one. Lee said, "Can we start Christian Javier this week? 2 starts. Can we ever start him again?"
We talked about him last week, and he's one of those that it's a matchup-oriented situation. When we get to my prize picks, to understand my thoughts on tonight's start from Javier, he's got Boston and then at Detroit. The Detroit start is tasty, even though they're playing well. I think you need to in like a points or something where you need to accumulate stats. If you have a better option, though, I'm cool with. Like I said, you could probably drop Javier.
Okay, a couple more, and then we're gonna burn through. We're just taking our time lately. I hope you guys have enjoyed a little bit later shows here. Josh said Alvarez is struggling. I'm in the playoffs. Do I drop him for a catcher in a lower tier? Kirk Stevenson, Ohape, Furman. Those are the names.
Oh, that's not Yordan Alvarez. That's got to be.
No, that is Francisco Alvarez. I was about to say you are very sure about him. I would say yes, you can do that.
Oh yeah, you drop him for sure. Just play the hot hand like Welsh was saying.
I think I'd go Kirk, and I would be keeping a close eye on Ohape.
Yeah, I just get word of those injured guys coming back too soon. And Furman's been playing well for Kansas City also.
Yeah. Oh, Beef said water is absorbed. So here's your rain question. Water is absorbed from the oceans, lakes, and rivers due to evaporation. So see, we're learning so much. We're learning so much.
I can give you a science test. I work at ag. I'll tell you how the water gets up to the sky. It comes back down, but I don't think we have enough time for that. And you want to keep your followers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next time I kind of would. By the way, somebody did ask earlier. This is partially because I'm in a grouchy mood today. Someone was like, "Hey, did Welsh give the Corbin Carroll and Welsh?" No, we didn't go anywhere this weekend because he needs to hit. So the answer was the batting cage. It'll be back on Wednesday. I wasn't in the mood because he hasn't been. Diamondbacks have been fine. He's been okay, but that's where we were. We were in the batting cages. He does have 2 straight games with hits. We need a little bit more, but we will talk about the rest of the funsy stuff with the home runs and everything later this week. So let's see. Injuries. Mike Trout, theoretically, potentially returning from the IL today. There's no actionable item except put him back in the lineup and feel great about it. This team is going all in for everything that you can see. I'll be curious to see what they do with Schanuel when Trout comes back. Do they keep him there? I mean, technically, I think they were going Schanuel and then like Ohtani. So then Trout could hit 3, but I just wonder if they mess with that at all. But there's no actionable item except, you you're welcome. Like, congratulations. Yeah, be happy. X-rays on Michael Harris. His right foot came back negative on Sunday for any fractures. So that's great news. Probably take it easy for a couple days. If you were in a weekly lineup, would you throw him out today?
I would. I'd also, like, the Braves always put their lineups out early, so that'll help. But he said after the game, obviously players say it, but so did the team, that they expect him back today, if not Tuesday at the latest.
Okay. Emerson Hancock left.
Say that one 3 times fast.
But also, let's be careful where I enunciate here. Emerson Hancock left Sunday start with a right shoulder strain, which is not great, especially for a rookie young pitcher. Probably not something that they're going to push back anytime soon, but he was very dicey as far as like what you were controlling with him anyways. I guess where I'm going with this is, like, if you were holding on to him, I would be more than fine just dipping him out for somebody else and streaming. He was more of a streamer anyways at this point.
Yeah, he's gone. I dropped him in the one league I had him in already. He's not happening.
Oh, is this true? Did Reds and Angels just get postponed too?
Are you kidding me? I'll check while you talk. That's
okay.
One. I got
are we getting trolled? Yeah, sometimes we get trolled on here, but I do think that's a possibility, because
that's why I was said that on my DFS show last night. I said we might have 6 games tonight, not 8. Just be prepared.
God's a Braves fan,
Reds
trying
Angels just got postponed. Yep,
trying to get Acuna all the accolades and not Ohtani. So there you go.
Yep, Reds Angels postponed. There you go.
I don't know what that's going to affect my bets. We'll have to see here very, very shortly. Other injuries. Thairo Estrada was hit on the hand again and is going to get x-rays Monday. No bueno. Kevin Newman, by the way, was a guy, one of the reasons why Marte had come up in the first place. He hit the IL, just made some room. And Tony Gonsolin is going on the IL with an elbow injury, going to probably miss the rest of the season. So no Tony Gonsolin. 3 up, 3 down. Brandon Belt on Sunday went 2 for 5 with 2 homers. Kyle Bradish was pretty good. 6 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. Very good season. And Dominic Canzone, 4 for 5 with 2 doubles. Very, very well. Really good major league outfielder. Dominic Canzone or Tommy Pham rest of the season? Who would you rather have?
Canzone, I think, for the more consistent playing time, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, someone brought this. I kind of moved past it because I'm just so going behind today. But Tom had said, I'm benching Framber this week. I actually had this whole thing brought up. I was going to bring it up with Javier, but Framber's been trash. But besides that,
outside of the perfecto,
no
hitter,
that no hitter, he's given up, I think, 4 earned runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. The strikeouts are not there. I think it's like 5, 4, 6 earned runs. I don't know if he's startable moving forward.
At Detroit this week.
I mean, that's a good matchup. Okay, so that's the one. But you know what? If he gets blown,
out here, he makes the answer.
I don't think you can throw him out there, just willy nilly. So I'm glad that Tom brought that up, because I was just thinking about that one. Also, you said Dominic Canzone, the 3 down. We had Hunter Brown. He went 2 2/3, gave up 6 earned runs. All the messing with the innings. We might be at innings cap hell for him. This might really be a thing as they're managing his innings. This inconsistency and the more innings, really pay attention to his matchups. I'm not throwing him out there with reckless abandonment. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm not going to do that right now. Max Scherzer only went 3 2/3, but I put him on here. Even though he gave up 300 runs, he walked 4. And then he's getting a little bit inconsistent. That's no bueno. And Jorge Polanco went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. So those are your 3 up and your 3 down. And we have also got for you some PrizePicks. That's right. Sponsoring the podcast is PrizePicks. Promo code leading off, 100% match up to $100. Make your deposit. You can play PrizePicks with us any time of the year. And it's not just baseball. It's all the sports. So do it today. Support the podcast and go make some money. How are you making some money today? What's your PrizePicks look like?
I'm going to keep riding the red hot J-Rod over 9 fantasy points in another great matchup this evening. Give me Corey Seager over 8.5 fantasy points against, was it Ciccone? Is that how you pronounce it? That's how I pronounce it. And then I mentioned I'd hit this one later. Paxton Javier combined under 11 strikeouts. I feel like at least one of them doesn't go deep into this game. So give me the under 11 strikeouts.
Okay. So what were the 3 again? Say them again.
J-Rod over 9 fantasy points.
Okay.
Corey Seager over 8.5 fantasy points. And then Paxton Javier combined strikeouts under 11.
I really like this one. I like this one a lot, actually. I might even play yours. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been with us here, you know what's coming. It is a hater's ball. I'm in a Monday mood. It's a Monday. So what do? I'm going all hate on my PrizePicks. So how am I hating? Well, Lucas Giolito fantasy score is at 35.5.
It's okay. You don't have to hate him. That got canceled, so you're good.
Hate, under. Kyle Tucker, 7.5 is his fantasy score. Under. And Ryan Weathers, we're picking on him, 2.5 earned runs. Over. That's my haters ball today. It is all things against the player, an under, and the over is not in his favor. That is the Welsh. Bubba, that is a Welsh haters ball. I've got a couple
special.
of those. Yeah, sometimes I have a hater sandwich where it'll be like one good one sandwich between two bad. But so that is my hater, and I don't think any of that is oh wait, no, the Giolito one is affected by the game, so I can't have the hate there.
So you got a 2-pack, you got a double hater.
I kind of want to hate on somebody else, so I don't know. I don't know who else to hate on. I will say I really love the Corey Seager one, but you're also representing the hate in the Paxton Javier one.
Yep.
So maybe attach that one to mine because I forgot that just got that screwed me over here. How about some bets? What are you betting today?
Alan Winans over 4.5 Ks at plus 105 for the Braves versus the Mets. I like what he's been doing, period, since he's getting called up, like over 5 Ks. He dominated the Mets in 111 pitches on 9 Ks in his last outing. So I like him again on that one. J-Rod over 1.5 total bases is somehow only minus 105. That is ridiculous to me. And then I'll take the bait against Peterson. Ronald Acuna over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus money at plus 105. I'll take that for sure.
I like that. I've got 2, luckily not affected by the postponement of the Angels and the Reds. Again, a couple people bringing that in here into unplayable field conditions. I have got 2 first 5 team total runs. First up, I'm going with Seattle. The Mariners through the first 5 team total runs 2.5 over. That pays plus money. Or I'm very comfortable with just taking the whole game team total, which is 4.5. So it's essentially for the Mariners to score 5 runs or more. That's minus 125. So, whatever you like. You want to play the whole game out, 4.5, great. You want to do the first 5 with Luis Castillo in there, 2.5, or beating up on the starter. You can do that. And kind of coming back to why I like that Corey Seager one, Texas Rangers up against Arizona Diamondbacks. I've got them scoring 2.5 through the first 5 team total run. That's against Slade Ciccone. So give me that Rangers first 5, 2.5 over, definitely on Slade. What do you got on DFS?
I mentioned like Alan Winans, 7.6K versus the Mets. I'm punting pitching tonight, by the way. Blackburn at 7K versus Kansas City. Both guys have strikeout upside. And then Drew Rom making his debut for the Cardinals. I like him a lot. He's the min at 4K versus the Pirates. A team that strikes out a lot versus lefties, and Rom's been stretched out. He's gone 5-6 innings in almost every start over the last month and a half. So I'll take him. Stacks, Texas versus Ciccone. We've kind of hit on that a lot. Same with Seattle versus Toussaint. We're both on that one. And then Atlanta versus Peterson. If you're looking for value, though, Schanuel was only 2.6K. That game got canceled, so never mind. Noelvi Marte at 2 points. That game got canceled. Never mind. Dominic Canzone, 3K versus Toussaint. So we'll go with that one since my other values are gone.
Yeah, I like going against that. I think that was my Seattle play, was going against Touki Toussaint as well. So that's why I'd play either one. First 5 is more based around trying to beat up on Touki. If you think maybe something weird happens, but you think they still score runs, that's why you can play the full game for 4.5. But we're going to get the home run board. Let me just ask you something. Where do you think Corbin and I would have gone today had I done it today? I only have 1 or 2. I need to get a couple more photos in. Where would you have liked us to go?
Sports psychologist.
Okay. Maybe I actually think, the picture would have been me and him on that freeway with the shark. If I was really thinking about
riding the shark.
That would have been the good one. 100%. Yeah. But speaking of Corbin Carroll and the home run board, look at this. You guys had a freaking weekend. I moved down. I am now only holding on to 10th place with Zamboni and MT Fischerow at 37 at the bottom. Blue Harvester's got a lead, but JJ Tater is coming. 5 homers separate those two. 48 for Harvester, 43 for Tater. Hoffman is at 40, tied with Razor Ramon, who is completely MIA. Hope Razor's good. Wonky picked up, I think, another at 6th place, tied with Benchwarmer at 38. So the home run race, I'm still 11 off, but first and second are 5 homers apart. The winner will win a custom autographed FantasyPros Home Run Champ Corbin Carroll helmet that I have right here. I'll be sending it to them for whoever wins that. Home run call. Who do you got today?
We're keeping our Texas Ranger thing alive. I'm going Corey Seager, going deep on Monday.
Ooh, you know what? I realize I didn't even put mine in. Can I be cheap? I want to take Corey Seager with you. Can I go? Can I ride?
It's an after party. Let's go.
All right. Bubba and Welsh, we ride. Corey Seager. Yes. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry, I don't know. You guys made me feel in a better mood. This is a total Monday, and games are already getting rained out, so that's a very serious Monday move as well. But we will be back on Wednesday. We will have a Where in the World Are Welsh and Corbin Carroll. We will have more news, all the latest, and hopefully we will have some more prospect stuff as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube so you are notified. Make sure you guys continue to be subscribed to the podcast so you get it right there. For Bubba, who you can find on Twitter at BDentric, I'm Welsh. You can find me on Twitter at IsItTheWelsh. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us right here on Fantasy Pros. Peace out until then. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Grandpa.